And welcome back. On July 1st of 2015, the Idaho STEM Action Center officially came into existence. The idea came from the governor's office, then the legislature approved it. It's now 1 year old and really starting to spread its roots. But what is it? What does it do and why? To answer those questions, Idaho STEM Action Center Executive Director Angela Hemingway is here. Angela, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning to you. First of all, let's start with that basic question. What is the STEM Action Center?
So as you indicated, the STEM Action Center is a new agency inside the Office of the Governor, and we are officially just over 1 year old. And our goal is really to connect kindergarten through career STEM education with an effort to increase our STEM savvy workforce and hopefully lead to Idaho's increased economic prosperity by having a stronger workforce ready to fill those STEM jobs.
So that pretty much sums up the mission of the center as it's been established, right?
Correct.
Okay, so let's get right into some of the examples, and we'll introduce our other guests here in just a minute with the T-Rex bobblehead that I just broke already here as we're on TV. But let's talk about some of the specific projects you've done, and then we'll get into some more details about STEM education here in the state. First of all, one of the projects you did in the first year was Fab Slam. What was that? What was the purpose of it?
So Fab Slam was a fabrication, 3D design and printing competition geared toward middle school. So we brought in educators and provided them with a 3D printer and the training to understand how to use the software. They then took that printer back to their classroom, formed a student middle school team that identified some kind of an issue in the community that they felt they could address through 3D printing, brought everyone back to the Discovery Center for this big competition, and actually our winning team, G Team, which was from Lone Star Middle School out in Nampa, was invited to attend the Week of Making at the White House, and they took their product that they developed called the Homeless Emergency Life Shelter, a help product that would help those individuals that were in an emergency, that they could pop up this tent and have a one-person shelter, and they got to showcase their event out there to all of those that attended the Week of Making at the White House in July.
That had to be quite the experience for them. Wow. Another of the events was STEM Matters Day at the Capitol building.
STEM Matters was a fabulous opportunity. We hosted that in January of this year, and it gave legislators and other government and state officials the opportunity to interact with kids and see some of the very unique things that students are doing. Everything from building tumble wings, which they made out of a piece of newspaper that could fly. Also, we had a number of our teams that competed in FIRST Robotics that had actually built and programmed robots. Some of those students, not only did they do exceptionally well in our state competition, they went on and did really well in our national competition. So, and also giving legislators an opportunity to do some hands-on coding. Code.org was in town, and legislators got to sit down and program Minecraft and Star Wars characters to complete certain tasks, and so it was just a great opportunity for legislators to get to experience what STEM is and the hands-on learning and active learning that kids are doing through STEM.
And one more example we have is STEM Fair that you had at the Western Idaho Fair. And from the pictures I've seen, it was, you know, a lot of younger kids got it, and you can see the looks on their face. They're either really intense, trying to figure something out, or just happy.
Not younger kids, but their parents as well.
Okay.
I think one thing that we're certainly trying to shine a light on in Idaho is STEM in general. So giving this opportunity for students and their parents to experience hands-on learning, to see what it's like to be really actively engaged in building or constructing or playing a banana piano or whatever it might be. It was just a great opportunity to kind of show the community what STEM is, what we can do, while also showing them potential careers that the families or the students could go into once they leave school.
Now, I did want to ask you, but you said you just celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the STEM Action Center. Why did the governor feel that it was needed at this time to create a STEM Action Center for Idaho?
Well, so as we look kind of back at some of the labor statistics, last year about 3,800 STEM jobs went unfilled in Idaho, and the median wage of a STEM job is just over $32 an hour, which is double the wage of a non-STEM job. So if you look at those 3,800 jobs at the median wage of $32 an hour, we have over $250 million in unclaimed personal revenue in addition to tax revenue. And so all of those are reasons that to increase Idaho's economic prosperity and ensure that companies have the workforce that they need to continue moving us forward, the STEM Center was created really with an eye and an end goal to help create that STEM savvy workforce that Idaho really needs to continue to drive our economy forward.
Now, a lot of the projects that you do involve 3D printers and 3D printing, like the TRex that I pulled apart already, and the TRex bobblehead here. Is the idea, why is it important, I guess, for kids to be able to create things like this in getting them interested in the fields? Is it just because it's so different than the lecture memorization style of old?
Well, I think one thing about 3D printing is it really encompass our philosophy in STEM is that it is all-encompassing. So kids are doing math on a computer to build and design what they want to print, and then they're using technology to actually print that particular design. And if that print fails, well, maybe they've done their math wrong and they need to go back and reevaluate what they've done online in order to make it print. And 3D printing is expanding really into all different areas, everywhere from healthcare to aerospace to fashion, you name it, and we've got 3D printing going on. And this particular example, this is actually the TRex that is at the Smithsonian in a scaled down version. And what this is helping is students that have that are visually impaired, that have maybe heard a T-Rex roar but have never actually seen a T-Rex, can have these models in order to better understand kind of the physiology and the biology behind the T-Rex.
Now this is actually pie.
This is a pie vase, 3.1415.
All the way around.
All the way around. Yep, a pie vase.
And that was also created by a 3D printer, and then something a little on the lighter side.
Yeah, so again, as we're talking fashion and clothing, 3D printing is certainly becoming much more common, so I went ahead and I designed this for you.
Oh, for me?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, why not? Let's get the close-up, right?
Exactly. Cha-ching.
He didn't take the close-up, but maybe that's good. That'll get out there on social media. So what kinds of results are you starting to see in terms of, girls, in particular, since we talked about that in the previous segment, getting more interested in these fields because of the changes and maybe some of the projects that the STEM Action Center has been doing?
So I think with girls, it is incredibly important to give them opportunities to solve real-world problems. And STEM lends itself very well to those particular opportunities. In addition, it teaches students some of the 21st century workforce skills. Soft skills are going to need to be successful. Teamwork, collaboration, I mentioned problem solving, critical and creative thinking. So there's a lot of different things that STEM can do to prepare kids as they move into the workforce. More importantly, I think the STEM Action Center has given an opportunity for industry to move into the classroom. We're creating, in the midst of creating a virtual mentorship platform. And what that's going to allow is for students who are working on these projects, perhaps a Fab Slam project or a science or engineering project, can interact with a mentor online in a virtual setting, and the industry can help support the educator as they're kind of moving into these new realms as well. It also exposes the student to these variety of different careers that are out there, anywhere from software engineering to app development to 3D print and design. So really creating those linkages between industry and education, which is a critical mission of the STEM Action Center, so that students, once they do choose to leave school, and again, this isn't just K-12, this is adults as well, when they move into that workforce, they have that skill set, not just the technical skills, but also the soft skills that our industries are requiring in the 21st century workforce. And
we just have a little bit of time left, but I also wanted to talk about the STEM Action Center's grants. You are able to give out a lot of grants within your budget that is growing too, by the way, the budget itself. Where do you focus those grants?
We focus them in a number of different areas. The grants we currently have open now are focused on educator professional development, especially in the world of computer science. We know that educators need those skills to confidently teach the students. We also have grants that focus on innovative STEM ideas that an educator might want to launch in the classroom. If educators are needing devices, we have a device grant that opens up shortly. So again, we want to take this really broad statewide view so that we support rural Idaho in addition to some of our more urban regions. So we really do have a variety of grants to kind of reach into all of the diversity of Idaho communities.
And how much money has been dedicated for your agency in order to fulfill this mission?
This year we anticipate nearly $4 million in grants and professional development and workforce development opportunities will move out the door into Idaho, mostly in the form of competitive grants. We found that the need in Idaho is incredibly high, so when we roll out a grant opportunity, we often have more requests than what we can fill. So this year we really want to move the needle on STEM awareness and K-12 STEM education, and then begin to shift our focus into higher ed and workforce development as those students move through those pathways and continue on in STEM.
Well, let's keep in touch as now you move farther into year 2 for the STEM Action Center. It sounds like you've hit the ground running.
We
so
have.
Congratulations on that,
Hit the
Angela.
ground printing.
Printing, exactly. And actually, this isn't broken. It goes right back on the stand. I just haven't figured that out yet. Angela, thank you so much for
Appreciate
your time.
Thank you.
And we will be right back to wrap things up.